for 60. We need a bigger room.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad you came out on this eve of legislative session, beginning legislative session. We want to take a few moments to outline some of our caucus's priorities and some of our concerns. As we begin this year, we're going to hear a state of the state tomorrow and hear a lot of glowing things. And it's just reminiscent of a couple of years ago that our governor, Rick Scott, spent $70 million of his own dollars to get elected. But it's sad to say, looking at this budget, he's willing to spend $500 million of our dollars to get reelected. As we look at this budget, we have a lot of concerns. There are concerns with living wages here in the state of Florida. And Senator Bullock has a great bill, and we will be supporting that bill this year. A majority of the jobs that the governor's talked about and that will be touted are low-paying jobs, a lot of times with no benefits. And the governor will tout a lower unemployment rate. But when you look at the unemployment rate in the state of Florida, there are some counties that we are certainly concerned about and some parts of the state that are being left behind. Counties such as Dixie County, Hendry County, Flagler County remain some of the highest unemployment rates. We must address that and leave no part of this state behind. We're concerned about the shortage of funds in K through 12. When we talk about increasing the funding in K through 12, we must dive into the numbers and see that we're still woefully underfunding public education, and Senator Bullock will address that later. We have concerns about the accountability in this state. Now, this summer and over the Christmas break mostly, we saw the governor concerned about unemployment and how we had a system that wasn't working. And the way he treated that system is we're not going to give those unemployment checks to people who seriously need the money. He was so concerned about someone unemployed maybe getting an extra check. But when it comes to looking at Enterprise Florida and looking at the dollars wasted there on luxury skyboxes, high-end dining, and credit card charges that are unaccounted for, we don't hear anything about the accountability there. We're concerned about a lot of the things that are going on in Enterprise Florida, the public-private partnership that seems to run amok. We're glad this year, and we will support as a priority the returning of tax money to citizens, the motorists of this state. We're glad the governor's finally come around in election year because we haven't heard about returning those tax dollars to Floridians until the election year. We heard since day one we want to cut corporate taxes. And during the election year, we're glad he's finally joined us in returning those dollars back to the motorists of Florida and giving a tax break. We will be supporting the legislation filed by different members that overhauls the minimum mandatory sentencing in the state of Florida. Our so-called war on drugs this year and through the years have proved to be fruitless. We've seen billions and billions of dollars go to incarcerating people with a problem, not people. That's a problem. We'll be supporting civil rights legislation, especially those passed by Senator Soto, to giving Dreamers a driver's license, something that Governor Scott unfortunately vetoed last year. We'll be supporting in-state tuition rates for qualified kids of undocumented parents. We're happy that Senator Bullock has been fighting for that for years, and that's been a priority of his and Senator Soto's, and we're glad that Speaker Weatherford has finally got on board. We'll be supporting reforming Stand Your Ground. We see that there is a problem. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And the least we can do as a legislature is reform Stand Your Ground and send a message as a legislature. Juries around this state have sent the message and again have made us the laughing stock of the nation as they see people who the nation feels have done wrong walk free. As a legislature, we must now send a message and show what is decent behavior, what is acceptable behavior in the state of Florida. This year, we'll be supporting, again, the expansion of Medicaid. We'll be supporting Senator Garcia's bill to expand Medicaid and bring those federal dollars, bring those tax dollars that Florida sends to Washington, bring them back here. We call upon the governor this year to not only give lip service. I understand that he may be changing, but if he's going to support it, not give lip service, but actually work with the legislature and help us get Medicaid expanded and help us bring Florida tax dollars back to Florida and not send them around the nation. When it comes to education, we're blessed to have a couple of great members, from former school board members to former superintendents to current teachers. And to speak about the education funding, I'll bring Senator Bullard.